Hey, I'm Josetta Yvonne, your book bae, coming on with a newbie tag today. I hope this video finds you well. So I have been on Booktube probably since 2022. Could have been the end of 2021, I don't quite remember. But I came on initially as a life coach and transitioned into a booktuber. Now, I always did some books even while I was doing life coaching, but that wasn't the sole purpose of the booktube. Well, I guess maybe 4 years later, I decided to pivot. I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I did not want to not profit from pain, but I just wanted something different. And I remember one day being on YouTube and Kayla's bookish vibes popped up on my timeline. And I've always been a book lover. I've read since I was a kid. It was a hobby then that was forced upon me by my mother. And now it's just a hobby I enjoy. So anyway, Kayla's bookish vibes popped up on my timeline. And it was so ironic because I had been contemplating doing more books on my channel, but I just really hadn't did it. And so when she popped up on my timeline, it was kind of like my yes from God saying, yeah, pivot. And so when I started to see her, I then began to get introduced to others like Shaughnessy Scroder and Shelby in the Book Club and Bookmarked by Aaliyah. And it just opened up a whole new world for me. And those are some of my favorite booktubers that I currently follow. Some of them read very similar reads to me, and some of them don't. They introduce me to whole new people and authors, which is something that I love because it may be things I probably would have never even looked to read. So let me get into some of these Booktube newbie tag questions that I saw online that you guys may be interested in knowing. So the first one is, why did you start this channel? And basically, to me, when I saw Kayla's bookish vibes, I said, okay, yes, this is something that is being done. I can do it. I love to do it. I grew up reading. I was in the era of they would give you free miniature pizzas to read. And it's something I just loved and really enjoyed. My mom was an avid reader. My sister was an avid reader. Of course, it was by force initially. But when I started to delve into some of her Nancy Drew books and Judy Blume and R.L. Stein, they were real page turners as a kid. Like, what was the other one? The Hardy Boys. And what was the other one? My sister even loved the comics. Archie and I can't remember, Veronica. I can't remember the name of the comic book she used to be reading, but something like that with Archie and Veronica and some of the others. But yeah, I dived into them and I really loved them. My mom would take us to the library in the summers. They had a summer reading program at the library, which was completely free. You would go there for half a day, have reading time, and then you would get to use your library card, of course, at the end to check out as many books as you like. I think there may have been a little bit of a limit for us kids, maybe like 5. I can't remember if it's the limit my mother gave me or the library gave me. But anyway, I would pick out, whatever I wanted to read. And I would go home. I just remember escaping into the book and reading it and staying up all day, all night in the summertime. And I just loved it. There was nothing like it, especially when you get a hold to those authors that are just great storytellers. And it just really pulls you in. So let me see the next question. It says, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Myself, that is it. Maybe different genres of books. I like to read memoirs. I also like to read books based on some history, historical fiction. I just kind of started more so reading a little bit more romance, which I think Shaughnessy kind of got me into because I have not been a romance reader really. My mom was a romance reader. I was more of a suspense, mystery, memoir, horror book reader growing up, and kind of delved into some self-help as I got older because I just felt like if I'm reading, then why not pick up things that can also help educate me and help me continue to grow. But as I've continued to read, I've learned that you don't have to just read self-help books to help you grow. Sometimes things in fiction that are being discussed, those things are just as helpful as well. And seeing people navigate those things. Yeah. So let me see the next question. Why do you love reading? Kind of just discussed that one. My love for reading is from childhood. It's an escapism. It is relaxing. It is good for your mental health. They've did various studies on how it also increases your vocabulary. And I can remember, I can't remember if it was a pastor or I can't remember who said it, but they was like, if you can read, you can lead. And yeah, I believe that. I also was taught that sometimes the very things we need to know, we can't always just find it, but if you're willing to open a book, you can find it. You can do whatever. I can remember my dad, like, sometimes he wouldn't be able to fix something on his car, and he would go to like the AutoZone and pick up like the books for his particular make and model car and read what it was about and how to do it, and then he would fix it. So to me, reading isn't just about also escapism, it's about empowerment. Because if you can read and comprehend, it can open up so many doors for you. Even I think about some of my previous jobs. I was a lease analyst, and part of my job was to read, comprehend, and break down the information for others to understand from those lease documents. And I didn't even know that that was something that even existed. But due to me loving to read and me knowing how to comprehend and break things down for other people, I was able to excel in that role because I had a love for reading. And so it opened up so many opportunities in my career as well. Okay, what does it say here? What book or series got you into reading? I think I already answered that question. I think pretty much my sisters, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, and especially the R.L. Stein, those books and series as a kid, those Goosebumps and other books, I love them. I devoured them. I could not get enough of those books as a kid. I mean, yeah. They give me one of those and honey, I could curl up on the couch all day and read. Go to bed reading. Let's see here. It says here, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I'm not sure. I guess one thing is that everyone is not book people, and to be honest with you, I love that there's a book community out here on YouTube, because in my real world, in reality, many of my friends, they're not readers. A lot of people think it's boring. They think it's lame. They're just not into it. So I think that is one of the things I love about BookTube, that there's a community around it. But I think that's also going to be a challenge, I guess, if I want to grow my channel, is that since there are so many people that don't value reading in the way that I do, I could see that, there being maybe a possible growing pains, especially if you're not reading some of the hottest books out there. I'm not a trendy reader, probably. I read what I like or what I desire to read. And it may not be the newest thing out there. It may be something I just discovered recently from a podcast or from a friend, or, from someone that a mentor. And it may be something that is, not hot off the press, versus people that read things that are new and lit. People may prefer to follow those and not mine. Let's see. It asks, when do you start reading? As a kid. Where do you read? I read everywhere. I read in the car. I read on the couch. I read at work on lunch. I read outside the park. Sometimes I actually, today when I went to the eye doctor, I forgot to pack my book, and I thought I might have to sit for a little while when I got there at first. And I was like, dang it, I forgot my book. Normally I would read in the waiting room before appointments, because sometimes, hair appointments are long sometimes, or doctor's appointments that have you sitting there for 30 minutes to an hour. So I found it nice to always have a book in my bag. That way I always have something to get into in between time. So yeah, reading, I read anywhere, everywhere. In the bed, on the chair, on the couch, at work, in the car, on the grass. You name it, I'm reading there. What kind of books do you like to read? I kind of already answered that as well. I'm into, lately I've liking historical fictions, memoirs, suspense, mysteries. Like I said, recently I've been reading some more romances due to Shaughnessy, which I've really been loving and enjoying those, because I'm not really a romance reader. I always thought, like, lame is what I thought initially. I'm not gonna lie. My mom would always read those romance books. I remember as a kid with the guy with the long hair on the front and his shirt off. So I always associated that with, like, I don't know, older people or the Fabios from back in the day. But I must admit, I am enjoying it, and I understand the desire now to read them, because to see people loved and to see them loved well is a high. I get it now. I didn't get it then, but I get it now. As my grandmother would say, just keep on living. And as I have continued to live, I have a better understanding now of why people are interested in romance. Yeah, and everyone is so deserving of it. Everyone is really deserving of it. Let's see here. It says, what does your book collection look like? it's all over the place. I can't wait till I get more settled and I'm able to get a bookshelf and put everything up and really show you guys what all I have. But I have some of everything. I have a little bit of poetry. I have like Before the Mayflower, which is a really old book that was recommended by Angela Rye. I have some kids books because I have a son and a daughter. I have historical fiction. I have, like I said, to get memoirs, so I'm kind of repeating myself. But yeah, political books. I have a little bit of everything. And I think that is just about all of the questions here. Oh, one more. It says, what are you most excited about for this new channel? I'm excited to just connect with people, to grow, to continue to do something I love, read and spit and you know, spread and empower people and tell them about what I'm reading. Because like I said, that's not something you get every day. There's not people in my everyday life that loves to read. And some people just don't have the time. Like, you're really having to squeeze it in there. But since I love it so much and it is relaxing and it is a hobby, I'm definitely gonna love being able to focus on it more and more and share it with people that also enjoy it. I think that is all of the questions. I'm not gonna hold you any further. I will see you guys again soon. I just wanted to come on and reintroduce myself because I know I came onto this site as a life coach years ago, and I started to transition and do some book things, but not a lot of book things, but lately my focus has just been books. And so that's where I'm headed. That's where I am, and that's where I want to go. And that's what I enjoy and I love. And I just want to start to focus on more things that bring me joy. I feel like joy is a form of resistance. It is a form of resilience. And yeah, I just want to do more things that bring me joy, because there are so many things in this world that is, I don't even know, I don't have the right word to describe it, but definitely not joyful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Introduce yourself in the comments. I'm happy to have you guys here. And I hope you enjoy the ride and the books I introduced to you that I have read and that is on my shelves. Hope to see you guys soon. Wishing you nothing but inner peace, positivity, and empowerment. You guys take care. Happy Friday and see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.